Hey guys, welcome to one of the newest live streams that we're doing. Haven't done a live stream in a while. Is Bitcoin going to go lower? How much worse is it going to get for altcoins? All of those questions hopefully answered in this live stream. Today we're also going to look at the upcoming events that are happening for Bitcoin and look at some entries for various altcoins out there and just maybe do a bit of Q&A if we've got time for that. So guys, let me know where you're tuning in from. Hope you're having a good day despite what's happening in the markets. Obviously, what is going on, first of all, with Bitcoin? Let's dive in and take a look. Obviously, guys, I want to say something. A lot of people out there have got this opinion and that opinion. And if you've been watching my recent videos, which hopefully you have, and if you have, then thank you very much, you will have realized that, it's not necessarily playing out in the way that anyone out there really necessarily said that it would, okay? Maybe there is one or two people who got lucky this time, but probably, they missed the last pump in the bull market before or something else. So the simplest and easiest thing, and I'll keep telling you this, and it might get boring, but when the markets are moving against you, we have to be very calm and identify that we don't really know exactly what's going to play out, but we have to act when things are in good value. And on the same time as things in the bull market pumping, we have to go with that. So where is Bitcoin going to? Well, guys, as you can see, I've been drawing these purple boxes on this chart. You're like, all right, cool. What do these purple boxes really indicate? Well, if you've been subscribed for a while, which hopefully you have, you'll know that I'm all about a buy zone. And a buy zone is basically an area at which we can see bigger money stepping in to buy into the markets. Now, it's much easier to identify some of these buy zones on here than it is to identify others. For example, this one up here, you probably, even if you're quite new to the game, will identify something important happens in this area. That is this. Every time Bitcoin sort of steps into here, it bounces really pretty hard, okay? This one in a single day, it did 12%. Came down here again, a couple of days, went up another 12%. And we started to bounce a bit yesterday, but as you can see, the bears have overcome us. Sorry, I just dropped my flip-flops on the floor. The bears have overcome us, right? So we're going down a little bit lower. And that's fine, okay? As it was to probably be expected, as we continued to get lower highs put in here. Okay, obviously that one up there. Lower highs, ultimately bearish. So what happened is the bulls were buying in this area, dried up. There wasn't enough of them. Sale pressure continued to mount up, and we get down to this area. Now, you're like, how have you managed to draw that? Let's go for a 4-hour time frame. Okay, if you can't see the details on a bigger time frame, like a daily or a weekly, you have to go in a little bit closer, because the choices you make right now could potentially pay off really nicely. So what we're looking at is this second buy zone here. How did I identify it? Look at the strength of the kind of move that came out after this little consolidation period. It sat here for about a day. That indicates that was consolidation period and likely to be a bit of a buy zone where we could probably see a bit of a bounce. Right now, we are seeing somewhat of a bounce. Now, this bounce is not big enough for me to go and bet the farm on it. Not have a farm. Whatever you want to bet, okay? Because this candle down here is a monster, okay? And it tells us there is significant selling pressure. It tells us there is a little bit of a bounce coming in here. But until I see some sort of a form of at least another kind of candle coming in on the 4-hour, something like this, I'm not really going to be convinced. And I do suspect that Bitcoin could play around in this area for a while. But there's one thing coming up tonight that is very significant, and it is this. Now, this, guys, is myfxbook.com. It tells us all the financial news that's happening in the world at any given time. And you can pay attention to the different currencies that are affected. The one here that we're probably most interested in right now is the US dollar. And there is a very significant event that is happening later on tonight, and that is the federal interest rate decision, which will be around 4 hours 54 from now. Work out your own times because everyone's somewhere different. I'm going to be well in bed by then. Now, why is that so significant? Well, interest rates going up. If interest rates remain the same, bearish, okay, there's a good chance that maybe they could potentially increase as inflation is still running way out of control, despite being an election year. Okay, so interestingly, this could be a cause for a bit of concern. Now, I don't want to tell you that I believe that the news is going to cause the knock-on effect, but the news creates the story that can create the reason why a price has moved significantly. Okay, so if suddenly it comes out bearish, suddenly like the news comes out bearish, suddenly we might see a bit of a sell-off from market makers, etc. Therefore, everyone will assume, oh, well, it's because of the interest rates. Everyone panics even more, and it comes back down. Now, how low does it go? Well, I think that the probably lowest, dangerous game here, okay? Dangerous game for me to say this. I think the worst case scenario is that Bitcoin gets itself all the way down to that bottom purple box. And we want to be ready for that. I said already in one of my groups yesterday, you want to be ready to buy when Bitcoin hits these zones. Right now, Bitcoin's just hit this zone. So a lot of people, I made a video yesterday or Monday talking about like different coins that I would be buying if Bitcoin hits these key zones. It's just hit one, okay? Therefore, if I had $100 for a certain coin, and we'll look at some of those coins later on, then I might have $50 in it. And if I'm so lucky as to get it down here, $50 again. This is a very obvious buy zone, right? You can see, nice sideways, big pump. Okay, so that for me would be as low as Bitcoin would go, but it's easy for me to sit here right now and say that. Something else that says to me that this is a good place to look is CoinGlass. And I want to go to CoinGlass, which shows, where is it? Obviously, it's not going to show me what I want, is it? I want the liquidation maps. There we are. Liquidation heat map. Okay. Now, I've showed you this before on the channel, but it's quite important. If you zoom out a little on this, then you'll see some interesting stuff. These yellow areas indicate where the liquidity sits, where people get liquidated. People who are in over-leveraged positions get liquidated. You can see that when eventually Bitcoin decides to come back in the other direction, things are going to be looking really very healthy for us, because it's going to come up into this area and it's going to happen very, very fast, in my opinion. But right now, we can see that there is a liquidation area. Probably can't see it on this, can we? Zoom out a bit further. There is a big area of liquidation that sits around 51K, okay, which is obviously under here, and I can't, for some reason, see it, annoyingly. Oh, it's because of the app thing. Anyway. Believe me, around 51K, big pool of liquidity sits. If Bitcoin wicks down into that, I think we're going to get the sell volume coming in. The big money is going to be able to load up, which is what it's trying to do right now. Big money is definitely trying to accumulate. Therefore, they're going to try and stress and panic you even more to get you out of these markets. Okay? 50K Bitcoin, would have been very painful to think about last week. But, from where we are right now, it's only another 11%, which, in the altcoins could be another 20%, maybe 30%, which would be very painful, okay? But remember, in the past, let's go back and look at the last bull market. When it dips so quickly, and it can often turn around extremely quickly, all right? So like here, for example, it was down in this area for a day. The next day it's back up 8%, 12%, and within like 3 days it's back up 22%, putting in a new high. Okay, so if Bitcoin puts in another like 22, I believe it's 23% down, but if it puts in like, over that, then it's back up to all-time highs, and this will be a little blip. Okay, it's happened time and time again in the last 12 months or so, and you've thought nothing of it, okay? It's only more relevant to us now, more painful. One, because we've definitely got more skin in the game, because we've been loading up every time we've getting paid, if you're anything like me. Okay, so we've got more skin in the game, but also pair that with the fact that you've been bleeding out, or the altcoins have been bleeding out, okay, sorry, that's a lie. The altcoins have been pumping like hell, like crazy. You've been loving life, okay, so you get all that like, good feeling, everything's going well. Suddenly it pulls back against us and we're like, oh, this is awful, okay? So the pain hits far harder after a big pump session than, after kind of a bit sideways, okay? So keep your eyes on the prize, guys, okay? Nothing really to be too panicked about. Gary Gensler was charged for lying to Congress. Okay, yeah, charged. Gary Gensler It's all a big game, guys. Don't pay too much attention to the news, although I do think that in around 4 hours or so time, if you are, lucky enough to be in a time zone where that's not the middle of the night, then maybe you should keep your eye on the charts. And if you get a sudden wick down into that zone, maybe you get a good chance. Okay, right. So, without further ado, let's think about where we can kind of see the best opportunities. And, this might not feel like it, but this is some of the best opportunities right now. And there are millions of projects out there that will do very well. Okay, do I know what they all are? Absolutely not. Do you? No, no one does. No one knows all of them because there's so many of them. But I think if we focus in a few key areas, we'll do well. And actually, it's bloody easy because those key areas have been doing really well already. How do we know? Luckily, I've kind of found them for you already. So these are from Google Trends. And you can see we've got a few listed across the top. Okay, DePIN, Decentralized Physical Infrastructure Networks. Excuse me. Basically, stuff that supports. Well, in fact, there's a variety. There's like 6 different sectors within DePIN. Okay, but I'm going to focus on one, maybe 2. One of them being decentralized compute power. Okay, what that means is if I want to build an AI language learning model, large language learning model like Claude or ChatGPT, then I can use the power to kind of power my the learning of the platform. Okay, because I don't have access to the right GPUs in my house, etc., or wherever I'm working. Therefore, I can outsource that power, or someone else can outsource that power to me. This is huge because AI is hugely demanding on GPU capacity, and most of these GPU compute projects out there don't really support this. Aether does. IO.net, I think, does as well. And IO.net and Aether have just teamed up together. So that's going to be an absolute monster to behold. DePIN. Those projects are not launched yet. Aether was due to launch at the end of May. I don't know in this current condition if it will launch at the end of May. If we see the market starting to move again, that's when you're going to see Aether launch. Okay, it's almost ready. Now, you can see from here, we've been getting a lot of reaction. We had DePIN starting to, DePIN's blue. DePIN on the grand scheme of things isn't really like showing a huge amount, right? But you know as well as I do, if you've been paying attention, the likes of Render, AIOZ have been absolutely booming recently. What else? Filecoin. We've had a decent run. These are not all decentralized compute, by the way. There are a few others kind of bouncing around the area. DePIN, the name gets things going. And I want you to pay attention. The narratives, and people hate this for some reason. I don't know why they're like, oh, you're just saying narratives because everyone else is saying. It's just the word. It's when it's like sunny outside and you hate the sun. That doesn't work. You know what I mean? It's literally the word, okay? I can't change the word. It's the word. It's the story, the narrative, okay? The narrative's so important because right now you are technically smart money, okay? A lot of us maybe don't feel that smart right now, okay? But we are the smart money because we're in early. And you're watching videos on a day like today when the markets are down, which makes you smart money, okay? Because most people are just like burying their head under the mattress or whatever, okay? Therefore, you will be buying in low. And the people who need to buy from you, for you to make money at the top, technically are not the smartest money, okay, out there. They're really new, fresh retailers. And crypto is a complex place to be. But there's a few places that they do tend to understand very easily, or people tend to understand easily. You need to be able to easily understand the project that you're investing in, to the point that you could explain to me or your friend down the pub or someone else what this project does, okay? I often do this on my channel because I'm non-technical. I try and explain things to you as if we're down the pub. And if I can do that, then it means that it's probably a coin that you can explain that to the person who's going to buy it off you at the top of the market because they are only going to buy what they can really kind of get their head around, maybe. Okay, so focus on the easier to understand narratives. You won't go far wrong. DePIN is pretty cool, okay? Makes a lot of sense. And there is some really and there's so many cool projects like DePIN stuff. Peak Network coming out this year. GPU.net, also worth a look. But all coming out this year. So when you're like, where do I buy them? You can't buy them yet. Okay, be patient. AI cryptos, obviously AI cryptos. Look at them. Look at this red line. It went absolutely bonkers. This is around GTC Summit this year, the NVIDIA conference. And we caught a lot of those moves. Okay. And then now we have the beauty that is pulling back on us. So first things first, because I know you're itching to see. We haven't got to go too exotic here, right, guys? Because everything's at a discount. It's far easier, weirdly, for me to make videos right now, even though less people are watching, because it's, the market's going against you. Because I can see that there's stuff to buy. Do you know how hard it was making videos for weeks and weeks and months when everything was at swing highs, and you're like, well, I don't really want you to buy stuff, and I don't want to keep telling you not to buy stuff. Bitunix has pulled back from this high a whopping 52%. Bonkers, right? So 52%, and still looks pretty bearish, okay? But at some point, it's going to find a base. And when it finds a base, it'll bounce very hard. So let's find those bases. Well, first things first, there's a few things we can do, because obviously maybe not that clear to find buy zones. There's a few areas in which things bounce. Horizontal line. Here you can see previous resistance. Previous resistance will flip into future support, okay? And no, it's not a solid line, so yes, this has kind of come down through, but that's why I like to use boxes, guys, okay? Because you can use the box, and it's a rough guide. If you just use like a solid line, you're like, oh, it's gone through the line, it's broken support, it doesn't necessarily mean that, okay? Still, you can see it bouncing here. So in the short period of time since it's bounced there, it's up another like 8%. Now, there's no guarantee that it doesn't stop there, but this would indicate kind of an area of support. Also, if we go for a 4-hour, I would have said this was a buy zone up here, but obviously since then you can see it's broken down through, so we don't need to pay attention to that anymore. We can see that this is a pretty big candle, big area of movement. So we get big buying pressure coming out of that area through here, which means that this area is our buy zone for Bitunix. Try to get across. Okay, not telling you to buy it. If you want to buy it, up to you. But you're going to be much happier buying it at $361 than you were buying it at $745. Don't you think? Bitunix is a beast. It's going to be an absolute beast moving forward. There's a lot of talk about Agix. What else? Agix, it's not Render, is it? Agix, Ocean, and Fetch, which are kind of like teaming up together, because Tao's like basically like a full stack, okay? It is actually kind of going against my complexity model, okay, because it is pretty bloody impossible to try and like explain how this works to you very quickly, especially if you're the man down the pub, because you're never going to get it, because I barely get it. And I've actually seen far more technical people than me barely even get it. But still says it's AI, right? People are not that like fussed. It's an AI project. It's a good one. People know it's a good AI project because other people say it's a good AI project. Probably does well. And I'm sorry if you're kind of like, crypto, taking away the kind of value of crypto here. But like meme coins are the best example of this. They go absolutely crazy for no reason. Okay? So if meme coins can go crazy for no real reason, you can believe, or better believe, that like projects with like decent narratives that are actually doing stuff or presenting themselves to be doing stuff in this world can do well. Okay. Bitunix, my AI find. I haven't found it. Lots of other people found it first. DePIN, because we skipped DePIN, let's just have a look at DePIN. Projects that are least existing within the DePIN narrative. Fala Network, one I actually really like, and one that has actually been cooling off pretty aggressively. After this nice big pump, you see you get this kind of fairly classic pattern, and lots of patterns that's kind of different. But if you look at these time and time again, you'll start to identify they do something fairly similar. Okay, well, they basically put in a pump. They create some form of like a narrowing corridor, or just a corridor. Call it what you want, don't really care. And then eventually you'll hit a buy zone area, where you kind of get the buy zone kind of crossover with this. Then you stand in a very exciting position. Fala Network, you can see, that kind of like moved out of this zone, eventually got bought up. You would say that maybe the buy zone exists up here, and kind of the whole kind of zone exists around here. But, can't complain. Fala Network is looking increasingly more impressive. Also fits into the kind of the AI agent narrative, again, to kind of delve deeper into the AI stuff. AI agents are particularly interesting, okay? And I will bring more videos in the future, okay, where I'm breaking down more details about AI and stuff. But this is a quick one, okay? This video, this live stream is a bit more about kind of calming your nerves and being like, this is the easiest thing to do right now, okay? Might not feel like it, because don't get me wrong, guys. Today I've been like do I really want to buy this? Because if it goes down another like 20 or 30%, I'm going to hurt. So I've just been chipping away. Like I've been trying to like keep my limit orders in. Okay. It's going all right. Fallon Network, you can see I've drawn 2 buy zones, 17 cents. And there's another one down here around 13, 14 cents. Now, lots of people were like, where would I buy this? How do I buy this? I don't want to buy it. And MEXC's just introduced KYC, which I know has upset a lot of people. Now, guys, what I've started to work with is Bitunix. Bitunix is a non-KYC, non-VPN requiring exchange. And they've agreed to list every coin that I asked them to list. They listed BVM the other day. They're about to list AIOZ. Beam, I believe I asked them to list. Pangolin, which is I think this one. Pangolin, I've asked them to list. They already have Fallon Network. I've been asking them to list a few more. Okay, so every single day in the Inner Circle Discord, which is a link down below, running competition, people are shouting out the coins and things they want listed on this exchange. I'm listing them for them. If you join through that link down below in the description, you will also start to be able to gain access to every coin that I talk about on this channel, pretty much, okay? All of it with no KYC, no VPN requirements, no matter if you're in the US or wherever, okay? It's incredible. Something else, this just doesn't exist anywhere else. So Bitunix is a great exchange. Been using it myself for quite a while. Problem with many exchanges, they didn't have many coins, which is how I've got them to put more coins on, okay? If you want like a one-stop shop, guys, absolutely genius, genius exchange. Not genius, great exchange. Anyway, Fallon Network, looking good, okay, in these sort of areas through here. Now, render, we'll just do render because I know it's a popular one and I know people love a bit of render. Now, when it comes to like strict like DePIN and stuff, I'm very much like, I think the compute and the AI compute stuff is going to do the best because the demand zone's there. Or sorry, the demand for that is there. There's not really a huge amount of demand for like rendering scenes and stuff. But that's okay, because at least it's doing something. It's actually making some money, unlike a lot of other projects out there, which you're potentially invested in that I won't mention because it will upset a lot of people. Render actually is, offering decent services. It's already working. It's onboarding new staff. Sorry, not new staff, new clients all the time. It's actually working quite effectively. And again, finds itself in a buy zone, okay? How do I know Render's going to do well? Well, it's already been doing very well, okay? It's a coin that's already got a decent community behind it. It's already working and improving on what it's offering all the time. It's built key relationships with IO.net. Also, IO.net is partnered with Aether, okay? These partnerships, is working towards some exciting things. Is it in a buy zone? Well, okay. It all depends and hangs in the balance on Bitcoin, right? If Bitcoin bounces somewhere around here, and maybe while I'm on this call, it's going to dump and go even lower. Who knows? Maybe it does, okay? But you never know whether this is the very moment where suddenly, like, next 5 minutes, you look back and Bitcoin's back up here at, like, 63K. It happened, like, so many times already that, you can't afford to kind of miss out on this, okay? Look at this, like, dips back down, straight back up. Dips back down, straight back up. Dips back down, straight back up. And then this one dips back down straight up. And yes, it has kind of come back lower than that, but you never knew that that was going to happen, okay? I'm sure some of the smarter people who will tell you that they knew this and they've been telling everyone for months that this was on the cards. Anyway, Render. How's the sound, by the way? It's a bit shitty, I can imagine. Fridge is noisy. Concrete house. It's making, it's an Airbnb. I don't live in a concrete prison cell. Not most of the time, anyway. Although, the way crypto's going, never say. I'm joking. Anyway, right. This green box for Render is a big green box. I think you'll agree. You can see somewhere, I said yesterday, around 6.9 was good value. It literally touched that. You can see previously it got down to around 6.2. I think anywhere in this green box, which is kind of like anywhere around $7, I would be quite happy with Render. Okay, but obviously do your own research, guys. Always do your own research. Can't help you otherwise. Yeah, so buy zone area for Render. I mean, there is more down below, but I don't think it's going to get down there particularly fast. Could be wrong. And the last one in DePIN, AIOZ. Absolute beast. Not only is an absolute beast, the team, super nice. I think that AIOZ is going to do really well. Not just because the team's nice, but AIOZ is one of the most advanced kind of crypto projects out there. They've been doing crazy things. They've been around since the last bull market. They didn't really capture that much attention back then. Suddenly in this bull market, they have. You can see now pulling back towards this zone around 53 cents. I've got another zone down here around 40 cents. 53 cents, I'd be loving it, okay? I hold a lot of AIOZ, okay? Just for a bit of transparency. Believe it or not, I do hold crypto coins. So, I also hold Fallow Network. I don't hold Render. I have held Render at points, but it got a bit overheated. Okay, so DePIN covered. What on next? Let's get into, just to mix it up, because we've been talking about AI. I will come back to AI. GameFi. GameFi is obviously... GameFi is one that definitely will get exciting, right? GameFi is one that like people go after because it's the ultimate like retail crypto, because it's the easiest to understand. It has like the nicest looking websites, okay, because they all look like fun and exciting and far more interesting than your average like DeFi website, right? Fair enough. I mean, there's a few people who will hate that statement. But it's, you know, it's the reason you get like the Alex Beckers and for this world and stuff going after this, because, you know, Alex Becker's job is to kind of drive retail into coins that he, you know, is working with. And GameFi is the ultimate, like, easy to push GameFi, like, retail people into, because they're like, oh, well, that game does look good. Let me get into it. And then everyone apes in. And then they tend to move very fast and they come down very fast as well. GameFi is kind of like the more glorified meme coins. There are some good gaming coins out there. There are some good crypto games out there. Very exciting one coming up called Midnight. Midnight, very interesting. Okay. Hopefully, we're going to be running a sale for Midnight in my Discord. If you want to get into pre-sales, guys, get into the inner circles. Link down below. Okay. We've been running various pre-sales throughout the year. We got one. We had $1 million for Aether the other day. We had a Portal. We had 300K for Portal before Christmas. That did a 55x on launch. So you could have put in $1,000 and had 55x. Okay, crazy. No, there's like launchpad stuff. Okay, where you have to pay huge amounts of fees to be able to get small allocations. Also, House of Crypto. Just going to let you on a little secret. House of Crypto is going to be launching a launch pad, but a new, far more exciting, far more kind of gamified and interesting launch pad with some of the biggest, most exciting projects coming up. That's going to be coming hopefully in the next 5 to 6 weeks. Stay tuned. Let me know your thoughts on getting involved in the House of Crypto's launch pad. Okay. Is Aether pre-sale? No, Aether's pre-sale finished, I am afraid. Let me have a couple of questions, guys, because I am just talking. What about Filecoin? Yeah, I mean, Filecoin also doing well. Guys, a lot of these coins, I know you're like, oh, people told me to buy these, and you talked about these coins before. You're right, I did. I understand that we were going to have a cool-off. I didn't know we were going to have a cool-off at this point, but I knew we were going to have a cool-off at some point, okay? My point has always been, when we get pullbacks, that you should buy. And I've always been telling you when we're at the top of pumps not to be buying, okay? I did that. I made a video about this on Casper like back in March of last year, saying that people would lose, and people still go and write comments, like the little Casper fanboy still go and write comments on this, being like, you were wrong, even though Casper's up like 2x since then, whereas everything else is up like 8x. Casper, rock on. What are we at? Can you say happy birthday to my friend Hugh Janus? Brilliant. How old are you, sir? Yo, how are you, Peter? I'm good, thank you. Right, GMRX, that's gaming, right? Gaming had a bit of a tricky time to launch because the market tanked around then, right? Yeah, horrid. Look at that. I talked about a buy zone up here. You can see my drawings were misleading because obviously it's continued to tank. New projects that launch when Bitcoin and everything's going down get absolutely wrecked, and it's very, very sad. but I wouldn't stress too much about it. If you got into some of these projects, okay, early on, don't stress too much because they do tend to come back very, very sharply, okay? When eventually kind of gaming and stuff comes back. Gaming does well of pairing the narratives of AI, DePIN, and gaming. It's an interesting project. It does something different from others. Am I that sold on what it does? Not massively, but I think it's going to capture the attention of lots of people. Okay, I'm happy enough to say that I'm not the most technical person in crypto, and neither are lots of other people who buy crypto coins. And all you really need is kind of something that's going to gather and gain attention. Gaming did a good job of gaining a lot of attention early on. I still have one of the not the meme coins, what was it? The NFTs, which I spent a lot of money on. So yeah, gaming could do all right. But it doesn't look amazing right now, I would say. It did, interestingly, pump from this area previously. How big was that? Yeah, it had a good 40% pump. I mean, it's as good as time as good a time as any, right? You can see it's getting bought up in this area. Gaming, have a look at it. If you want me to list gaming on Bitunix, let me know. I'll ask it. What else? All the crypto games are trash so far. I'm kind of inclined to agree with you. Yeah, we're in like a very early phase of crypto, like life cycle, right? There's like all the promise of what's coming, but a lot of it is just promise. Okay, there are a few things that are actually doing pretty well, like Solana network is absolutely going crazy, and it's going crazy because it's getting used all the time. So this is something I want you to consider, because I know this is an unpopular thing to say, but there's a lot of big chains out there with big market caps that people are like making videos about every single day, like Caspers and the ICPs and whatever of this world, that, you know, have great and exciting tech. It doesn't matter if no one uses them, okay? It doesn't really matter if no one's going to use them. When it comes to games and things like that, people are starting to kind of use them a bit, and the ecosystems and stuff kind of grow far faster. When it comes to layer ones and things, you need to focus more on the use cases and the amount of usage, because there is a lot of layer ones in circulation, and a number of them are getting used a lot. Solana's, Ethereum still gets used, okay? You've got other ones. Avalanche has been doing quite well. But outside of that, be cautious, okay? Pull up an ICP chart. I will, for you, sir, because you asked me so politely. Joking. Obviously not that politely. What's this? Oh, this is a market cap. Hold on. Internet. Also got the worst name of any crypto coin ever. Who's saying Brett's a scam? I mean, guys, meme coins are scams, to be honest, right? I mean, they're not scams, but they might as well be. Lots of them. ICP is... I mean, it's not really saying much in this particular pattern. I mean, that is quite bearish. It's kind of pumped up really hard, and then it's going to come back down. It's now rolled over, created a sort of a head and shoulders kind of thing. Wouldn't shock me if ICP comes a little bit lower. I don't think it's going to go all the way there. I think, anywhere around $10. Again, like it's an amazing project with like an incredible team, but it's yet to kind of do much. Do much that's useful. Do much that's actually going to make money. Do much that's actually, Okay, ICP. Right, let's get on with it. Where were we? GameFi. Let's go back to GameFi. There is one project I am actually extremely bullish on that I really like, and it is this one called My Lovely Planet. Mainly because I've actually been playing this game, and they've been. If you just follow them on Twitter, I know a number of you got in through pre-sale because I've made videos about it. My Lovely Planet are a few of the creators from behind Candy Crush, French team. Okay, Candy Crush obviously has got like over 1 billion users. The revenue on that thing is absolutely crazy. They make like $7 billion a year. This team, or members of that team, now created My Lovely Planet. If you think about what drives a really successful game when it comes to crypto and what people get into, they get into projects with experienced team members who've come from big names, massive, massive tick. You then get, projects with people actually actively playing. I've also been tracking this on Twitter. They've now got like something like 110 110,000 monthly active users. I've been playing it. It's actually a decent game. They're funded by, who are they? Ubisoft? Is it Ubisoft? Unity, Ubisoft. Some of the biggest names in gaming. They've got kind of everything, okay, that a gaming project needs. And on top of that, they're like helping the environment, okay? So, you know, you plant a tree in the game, they'll plant a tree for you in real life. Very cool. And it's that allows them to onboard new customers, new players for like 12 cents per player, which might seem expensive, but actually that's something like 94 cents to onboard a new player into Candy Crush. So this is crazy. And that's going to be launching, I believe, in May. In fact, mid-May, although maybe again, they'll delay it. Maybe they said here. They'll delay it, I would imagine, if the market's not too hot. But My Lovely Planet looks good. Mojo. I like Mojo. Planet Mojo. Again, Animoca. Like, this is a crazy project. Animoca Brands backed. Again, horrible looking chart because, yes, launch. Scary. I was bullish on ICP. I'm still bullish on ICP. I'm just telling you it's not as good as people like to make out that it is. I mean that in that it's not as good as an investment as people like. It's like $6 billion. It makes like $35 a day. I make more than $35 a day, but I'm not worth $6 billion. Make me into a coin. Right, Mojo. Also a decent buy zone area. Take a look at it. It's Planet Mojo, I believe. That one. Again, like backed by some very big names, has won or been nominated for various strategy game awards, has a working game, has more games and things in the ecosystem coming up, cool graphics, good team, huge partner list. I mean, that's why you got such a big sell-off at the launch, but, you know, it still helps. And then you got all this kind of like team and stuff behind it. So definitely have a look at this, guys. Planet Mojo looks good. And if the market would have been running better more recently, I think it would have done a bit better on launch. Where else are we going to go? AFIN, I like. AFIN, I talked about on the channel, and lots of people are like, oh, it's bleeding. I mean, GameFi projects are not quite ready, right? Because gaming is not quite ready at this stage of the market. We're still not really in the crazy retail phase that blows up gaming. AFIN does have a full working game and has another working game that's coming out later in the year. Sorry, and we'll have another working game that comes out later in the year. They had a game that outcompeted, what's it called? League of Legends, or the recent League of Legends launch and the Pokemon launch. That was very exciting. That came around the time I made that video, which is around here. The price obviously moved up. Now you can see it's pulling back. Now you can see AFIN is approaching lower buy zones. Let's get into something like a 1 hour chart, see if we can find a buy zone around here that will help us on this journey. Okay, this is a good place. Notice, bit of sideways action, big buys. That means that AFIN right now sits in an area of interest. The next area of interest is down here at like 3 cents, which if Bitcoin dips harder, you will see AFIN dipping with it. So yeah, AFIN looks... Guys, literally everything is sat in the right place. Yes, if Bitcoin tanks, then everything's going to go further down, but you don't know at which point it turns around. Just got to accept value when you see it. Okay, let's move on. AI, GameFi, Render and Arweave. I just did Render. Aerodome, not sure. LCX. Like Liechtenstein, like exchange or something, wasn't it? I think it's something weird. Lots of people talk about LCX before. For some reason, it started trending. Lots of people liked it, but I don't know why. Nothing against it. I just don't know much about it. It's also interesting to note that like a lot of like what is popular across YouTube isn't really popular with people who actually go to like any like VCs I've spoken to, any like people in crypto I've spoken to. Most of them have no idea or don't really care what a lot of the more popular coins are on YouTube. And I don't know why they've got so popular, some of them. But like in terms of like the actual tech and stuff that's like decent, I think many of you have maybe been lied to about some of that from some YouTubers who are targeting easier keywords to target than others. Your accent is sick for streaming also. Thank you very much. Right, I'm trying to read some questions. Where can you get My Lovely Planet? My Lovely Planet is not yet launched. There was a pre-sale, but it's finished. It will go live. Now, one thing I've talked about before, and it's very crucial to know when you see a coin get launched, is that you often do see a sell-off at the start. That does not mean that that coin is a bad coin or anything like that. Just means that the people who are buying into it down here, of which people in my inner circle were some of those people buying into gaming, it rockets up. They have their like 10% TGE or token generation event percentage release. They sell off. Okay, people around them who take losses because they've been buying in here, they also start to sell off. People get bored, they sell off. Market starts to get quiet. People don't want to be in new coins. They get lost, get sold off. Okay, but eventually it will bottom out. Okay, and you can see from the kind of the launch how well this coin was previously received. It will eventually probably do quite well. What else we got? Bitcoin falling wedge. Yeah, possibly, but it's kind of come out at its bottom of its falling wedge. Aether, Prime, POW. Yeah, Prime I like. Echelon Prime. Echelon Prime is a very good one to take a look at. Again, AI agent crossover with gaming. I made a video on this the other day. This is another very key thing. When you get narratives and you get like key narrative crossovers, okay, like AI, gaming, DePIN, Juicy, okay. Prime, Juicy's not a narrative, by the way. Prime sat here is looking prime right in this buy zone. Just take a little breather, okay? A little rest. Right. So my point is, when it comes to, I don't mean to be like, shitting on some of the coins that you want me to talk about. A lot of coins I've talked about, and I'm like, yeah, they have good things going on. They sort of talk about good opportunities. And a lot of like what will drive retail and stuff is the kind of the narrative, the story, not just whether it's a DePIN or an AI, but this project's having the first AI, whatever it is, being built on it. That's something that gets the market excited because it doesn't mean that it's necessarily going to make any more money in the meantime. But this project's just had a game launch that's, the top ranking game of, the last 3 years on Samsung devices. I don't know what that really means in terms of revenue or anything like that, but it does seem to mean something positive. So maybe I'm going to buy it. This is kind of what you've got to think about, okay? How easy is it to people to understand a particular coin? What does this coin have going for it? Gaming is particularly like this. When you get to more like technical projects like DeFi and BRC-20 stuff, which we'll talk about in just a moment, then it's slightly different, okay? More technical, more difficult. But for the easy ones, it's slightly easier ones to look at. Hopefully I have great content. You are my #1 go-to guy in crypto. I have made some money thanks to you. Thank you very much, Mark. What chart are you using for the coins you're talking about? I'm using tradingview.com, and I changed the colors because I'm cool. You can just right click, go down to settings, and you can see the symbols. You can change the colors. If you change canvas, you can change the colors, and you can change, whatever you want. Very exciting. Right. Portal for gaming. Yeah, Portal looks cool. Let me get on with the next ones because we're running out of time, guys. BRC-20, real world assets. I'm not really going to get into real world assets too much in this video because it's kind of boring. The real world assets popped off the other day because BlackRock announced that they were launching a new fund for tokenizing everything or something like that. I remember what it was, but I made a video about it. I can't remember the exact piece of news, but it got everyone fired up to get into that. And cool projects were Maple Finance. I liked Clearpool Finance. I met those guys the other day in Dubai. Nice dudes. Clearpool, I think, might do quite well. Pay attention to that one. Now, BRC-20. Because Bitcoin and the ETFs and stuff are kicking off, BRC-20 has become a massive narrative. BRC-20 is basically stuff being built on Bitcoin. Have like things like ordinals and other things now kind of going into runes and whatever else. Now, I think with BRC-20, a handful of projects will do particularly well. Sorry, I didn't show the chart today. I was just showing my face. The BRC-20 stuff will do particularly well because it is more secure for Bitcoin. Bitcoin's already getting a lot of publicity right now and definitely worth paying attention to as kind of the Bitcoin ETFs fuel the growth of Bitcoin. So I think a lot of like markets, particularly in Asia, Asian markets looking towards Bitcoin, BRC-20, ordinals, that kind of stuff. Therefore, I like and have liked BVM, Bitcoin Virtual Machine.network, BVM.network, basically allowing projects to build layer 2s on Bitcoin, which is very cool, okay? It's a full working product. They are actually actively onboarding people all the time. They've been working hard on developing things with runes and stuff like that. The price was actually, until maybe a week ago, massively outperforming the entire market. Subsequently, it's dipped back down. And guess where it finds itself today? In a buy zone. Yeah? Look at it. Does it come lower? Maybe. Okay? But this is the coin I've probably been accumulating more than anything else right now. Okay? I've been getting very aggressively into BVM because it's class. I think this is my kind of, if I'm looking at the BRC-20 narrative and whatever, and I want to have like plays within each of the key narratives, this is where I'm aiming first. I think when Bitcoin starts to pump, it's going to pull a lot of the Bitcoin narrative stuff with it. Okay. What else in that particular narrative? I like BFI. Again, BFI, you can see I drew a buy zone. Again, new launch coin, just quietly disappearing. People will be like, oh, it's a dead coin, it's a scam. Guys, every time I've heard that, tends to eventually bottom out and it will come back. Okay, so, I mean, anywhere under that green zone is great value because it's been up here and I think it will get up there again. So that's like a 4x, 3x from here, 4x. No, lie, 3x. So yeah, BFI decent. BFI, a BRC-20 based exchange. Also, I like AudiSwap. Is it BFI that does it or AudiSwap? I get confused between two. Hold on. B.Fi? No. Yeah. It's definitely not that website, is it? BFI. BFI Labs. 7 million market cap. Bonkers. Okay, I think BFI is going to have a pretty solid run. Also, BFI was from Ape Terminal. So a lot of KOLs and stuff bought into BFI. I didn't buy into it from that particular time. I bought into it later on. But I think that over a period of time, you're going to see a lot more KOLs pushing BFI. BRC-20 asset trading terminal. Yeah, okay, so stuff on BRC-20. It's really cool. It's got a lot of stuff going on. It also links up with other chains, other wallets. So definitely have a look at BFI Labs, especially with such tiny market cap. Being able to use and function with ordinals, BRC-20, almost a no-brainer. We've seen it happen already over the last year or so when AI coins are pumping, like pretty much all the AI coins pump. When BRC-20 stuff is pumping, I assume that most of the BRC-20 stuff will pump, particularly the winning the better projects, of which BFI and BVM are definitely up there. So you really haven't got to be that smart, okay? You're looking at an opportunity right now, which we haven't had for months and months. It's a great time, okay? And I know a lot of you, just because of the way markets work, probably arrived in this market within the last sort of 6 to 8 weeks, and you're probably hating life because you probably arrived fresh in and then you had your pants pulled down because you've gone straight into a massive dip, and it's never a nice time to get involved in crypto, but ultimately it's probably not the worst time. The worst time will be at the top of the bull market, and that top of the bull market will come at some point, but it's not coming right now. Okay, guys, let's have a couple of questions and see what's going on. Remember, we are like, Bitcoin's up here, okay? It's been up here. It's come back down. in terms of like the market, like the altcoins, they're like here compared to Bitcoin. The altcoin market cap is having a little bit of a dip. It has like 60% to catch up on Bitcoin, and it will go beyond it. Okay, eventually. Is BVM on Bitunix? BVM is on Bitunix. It was the first one that we managed to list, through my group. Your next level on Bitcoin, man. Learning so much. Thank you. Sod this dip. Yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong, guys. I tell you I love this dip. I hate the dip as much as you, okay? We just have to make the most of it. We all hate the dip, okay? Because it's painful. Because now, annoyingly, like, there's things I want to buy and I have to pay fees for this and I have to pay fees for that. I have to do this. And like, before, it's I'll just take it out, take some crypto off because it's just free money, right? And now I'm like, actually, like, I've cut my portfolio down quite a bit in terms of its value, and now I'm trying to use the money for stuff, and I don't have the money for stuff. We all got ourselves in a pickle, didn't we? What happens to the best of us, guys? But lots of things going forward. What about layer 2s? Yeah, layer 2s would do well, guys. Optimism, nice. Arbitrum doing all right. Lots of people building on Arbitrum, still not massively bothered. Linear, I think Linear could have a good year. I do own one meme coin, and it is Foxy on Linear. Why? Don't know. Massive following. Quite liked it. Popular in Asia. I think Asian market's going to drive this bull market, being that the rest of the world's getting massively regulated right now. Obviously, like, we know China's regulated already, but I still think like the Korean markets, Hong Kong, Indonesia coming through strong. I'm going to be picking up more B5 BVM, Zeus, Flux, Palm AI. Not heard of Palm AI. Flux, people keep talking about Flux. Maybe I should take a look at it. Who thinks I should take a look at Flux? Zeus Networks is beast. Zeus is also pullback. Have a look at Zeus, guys. Zeus is an absolute monster in the making. Audi Bank. I like Audi Swap, which is Ords, ORDS. Happy to any news on Peak Network. Yeah, I believe it's coming out soon. Again, guys, lots of these projects we're planning on launching in May, but they won't launch when the market's like this, because you can see what happens to projects when they launch into this. Just get decimated. Picked up Render ISP, IMX. IMX, nice. Cool. Right, guys, I'm going to wrap that up there because I've kind of, we're all tired. We've all been a bit sad and stressed, right? If you get a very aggressive spike down, I'll leave you with this. If you get a very aggressive spike towards the downside, do not panic, okay? That's the game. Don't panic. We're all a bit panicked right now, and I know that another one down is going to be really painful. Ultimately, set your limit orders at buy zones, walk away, okay? If you believe that we're in a bull market and this is just a correction, then you must continue. Then I must, because obviously I can't give you the advice, then I must continue to buy the dip. Don't know how low it's going to go. And if I try and pick the bottom, guess what? You probably didn't sell the top of the last bull market, so why do you think you can pick the bottom of this dip? But I guarantee it's probably going to bounce in one of those buy zones. Which one? Not sure. Hopefully it's this one, and we can all crack on tomorrow and have a nice day. Anyway, guys, thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed that. If you did, then make sure you like the video. I know it's a bit like disjointed today, guys. Apologies. And if you're new, subscribe. Tomorrow I will make a video, depending on what happens in the market. If it tanks, it might be a different video. If it pumps, it'll be like, yeah, we got it all right. We were smart. If it dumps, then we'll look at new buy zones. Anyway, guys, take care. See you in the next one. Bye-bye.